Really starting to go through a lot of wood now. Even though the cabin's insulated, the cold just finds a way in. It's never perfect. Constant struggle. But I just bucked up some of that jack pine. This is all standing dead stuff. Pretty much on our property. All dead from a beetle infestation. The daily struggles and work of keeping going in minus 30 and below weather continues. I'm very fortunate to have this wood, but I'm dropping right now like 2 trees a day, split up and quartered or eighths into the wood stove. I mean, that's pretty much what I'm going through. It's a lot of wood. So today is day 13 of our trip out here, and just the dog and I, other than 2 days where we had weather, I think it was like minus 15 or 16. Every day it's been minus 24, 25 degrees Celsius plus the wind chill. And then every night's been dipping down below minus 30. We had minus 38 last night. And if the forecast is correct, it's minus 41 coming tonight. It's so hard to get anything done, let alone film all this stuff. I mean, it's just a joke at this point. I've already broken a lens. I don't know what else is going to fail. We have solar electricity, but we had a couple days of cloud, which was draining the batteries. And then, you know, at minus 35 nights, the generators had a real tough time getting going. Hey, Whiskey Jack. Hey, buddy. I haven't seen anything at all for... That's crazy. Wonder if the wooded beardsman would eat those. Not in a provincial park though. But anyways, generators had a hard time really keeping up, and it's just been miserable dropping 2 trees a day really just to keep going and keeping the cabin warm. And it's fully insulated, but at minus 30 and below, it's hard to keep heat in the cabin, insulated or not. And I thought this would be a good and appropriate time to just talk about watching your six and being safe. This is real deal. This isn't a glorified television show like Life Below Zero where there's full camera crews helping people out and everything. I'm out here alone. And the point of my experience out here was to just be completely dropped off and isolated. I can't pick up a phone and just call and say, hey, generator's not working, come take a look at it, or my solar system's not working, or I have other issues. I have to deal with it all. And that includes tearing apart the chainsaw on a daily basis because everything is seized, bringing stuff in the cabin to warm up, going out and being Mr. Fix-It basically, going to get water at the lake, you know, drilling a new hole because 12 inches of ice formed in the hole that I cut the day before when it's minus 35. It's all real deal. And if I'm being honest, it sucks. I love being out here. There are moments when it is just incredible out here, and I'm just so fortunate that we have this place. But when I'm going to the washroom at 7 o'clock in the morning and wiping my butt, and my hands are literally throbbing, the most painful experience you could imagine, but you can't stop. You got to finish up. You know, that's a real deal, and that's where you get that sobering reality of the situation. But on the flip side, pain lets you know that you're still alive, and I believe we all have to challenge ourselves. I think challenge is a really, really good thing. And what I'm doing out here might not be for everybody, but whoever's out there, you guys should find your challenge and do it. I know for me, this is this is challenging. And, you know, some of you might say, oh, you got firewood and you got a cabin and, you know, you have Wi-Fi and all that. But guys, it doesn't make it any easier. I still have to get that wood. I still have to cut that wood. I have to split this wood. I have to go down to the lake, drill a hole in the ice, carry 100 pounds of water 200 feet up a hill back to my cabin. These are all daily chores. Taking a bath in the middle of the cabin next to the wood stove, sponging myself off, like, it sucks. There's no other way around it. The flip side to all of this, though, is that this is a pretty simple life. I don't have any of the stresses of daily civilized life. So I'm not receiving phone calls. I'm not worrying about traffic. I'm not worrying about making it to work. You know, the stresses that you all have that are watching this right now, I don't have that here. I will when I return, but I don't have it now. And I think that at the end of the day is where we all look at this romantic notion of the wilderness and say, I want that life. I have that life right now. And although it's great and it's simple, a lot of times it sucks. Like right now, it's windy. It's like 15-mile-an-hour wind coming off the lake and it's hitting my face and it sucks. Sucks. Just getting back to safety for a second. So once I had the chainsaw inside today and I warmed up the chainsaw by the fire for like 2 hours, got all the fluids working, ran up the chainsaw, came out here, selected a few trees. I have to be so careful when I'm dropping those trees, wearing eye protection, of course. Okay, so I always have my sunglasses on, but being careful that the tree doesn't fall in a direction that I don't want it to fall, or it doesn't get hung up in any of the other trees in the forest here. Because if that tree falls the wrong way and it pins me or it impales me, I'm going to die. There's nobody to save me. There's nobody even coming to check on me. My flight is not scheduled for another week. You know, I couldn't get myself out from underneath a 500-pound tree, especially if I was impaled. It's just not going to happen. So I have to be so careful when I'm using the chainsaw, not just of the chainsaw, but of the trees and where they're falling. And then when I'm bucking up the wood, or when I'm splitting the wood, or carrying the wood up to the cabin, everything that I do has to be calculated and thought out. And over the years, as I've aged, I've slowed down a lot. And I've done that on purpose. So I used to run around the woods and it was like rah, rah, rah. And that's all fine and dandy until you start hurting yourself or you put yourself in situations that when you look back on them, you're like, holy shit, I almost didn't make it out of that. And out here, that's life and death. So I'm always slow. I walk back to the cabin slowly. I'm very careful and I understand my background. I consciously check everything that I'm doing. And that's really the only way to be out here, because those that don't, eventually life will catch up with them out here. Anyways, that's my little spiel. I got to get this stuff up to the cabin now. I got to get it split up and then I'm going to bring it up onto the deck, into the cabin, start stacking it by the wood fire. Buddy, come and help me. It's cold out, eh? I know. Okay. I got most of it split. That's 2 trees. And like I said, 24, 36 hours, gonna have to do it all over again. Just burn so much wood at these temperatures. But it's good wood. I'm really fortunate. This stuff's just totally dry. I'll just get it into the toboggan, up onto the deck, into the cabin. We'll start stacking it.